All right. We are live with another episode of Marketing Without Rules, the show where we celebrate people who exemplify the hunter mindset. They make moves, they color outside the lines, and they have creative ways to channel the attention of their community into currency. This show is sponsored by Blue Crocus Solutions, a web design and SEO agency focused on helping home service companies. I am your host, Louis Vandervalk, and today I have the pleasure of chatting with Dennis Yu. As a globally recognized expert in social media advertising, analytics, business growth, and more, Dennis has worked with some of the biggest brands and mentored thousands of entrepreneurs. Get ready, guys. We're going to have fun. This will be actionable insights, industry secrets, and some no-nonsense stuff that you can use to scale your business. Welcome to the show, Dennis.
Good to see you again, Louis.
Good to see you again. You've been out and about in the world travels.
Yeah, I've been in the. You've seen on Instagram.
I follow Facebook more, but I saw a lot on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah. And
what was the coolest thing? I saw you visited the Colosseum, the pyramids.
I think it was going into the Vatican Museum and the adjoining St. Peter's Basilica, which is the largest, oldest, most amazing church. And this year is a Jubilee year, which in the Bible, every 50 years, you understand, like with the Jubilee, you're supposed to forgive sins for people, and it's renewal. And so the Pope opens that Jubilee door for us to walk through. So I was able to walk through it, and whether you're a Catholic or a Christian or you're spiritual in any way, it's a momentous kind of thing. Very
significant event either way. Yeah. Very cool. Well, it's been fun watching your travels, but we've been chatting a bit. So let's I'd like to dive right into the brass tacks here. Dollar a day is something that you've become, it's kind of become synonymous with your name. Search Dennis Yu $1 a day. You're going to see a bunch of different stuff, but I want to bring that to our audience here today, broken down in a way that someone can go out and take action on. So can you walk us through that process of, what does $1 a day even mean? What's the, you may have to step back and explain a little bit of your philosophy of marketing, but take us away.
Sure. So Louis, for all the hunters out here on this podcast and live stream, $1 a day is how you get more of what is already working well. So, for example, we have tons of young adults that are starting their social media agencies and doing SEO and whatnot. And they goof up because they don't know how to film on the client site. They don't know, when you go to a plumber or a landscaper in Cleveland and Dallas, Texas, and wherever it is, they're not capturing the right videos that are going to make the phone ring. They're not interviewing the team members the right way. They're not filming, vertically versus horizontally. They're not repurposing. Their sound isn't right. They're not asking the PAA questions. There's all this kind of stuff. And because that's been a repeating issue that I've seen over and over and over again, usually it's mistakes. Oysters, the way they make pearls is because of a sand irritation that eventually turns into a pearl. So this is the way I view it. I've got a ton of pearls, which is a ton of mistakes. So when I was in the Colosseum last week, I made videos answering how to overcome these challenges. When I was in St. Peter's Basilica, I made a 1-minute video saying, hey, this is how you set up a location service page on your website the right way. When I was in the Great Pyramids in Egypt 2 weeks ago, crazy. Did you know you can actually walk inside? You have to buy an extra ticket. In Egypt, they charge for everything, right? But that's what I love, because you can have stuff you'd normally not get access to. Sometimes you have to bribe the guards. But you can walk all the way up into the very almost uppermost portion of the largest of the Great Pyramids, which is Khufu's tomb. And when I was up there, I made a video explaining something. I forgot whatever the topic was, but everything that I know how to do, everything that shows that I have expertise, that reveals relationships, is content that can then be boosted for $1 a day. Yeah. And this is the part that people don't understand. They think they've got to go live every day. They have to post on Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and their website and Google My Business but the beauty of $1 a day is if that's something that is authoritative. So if you are a plumber in Richardson, Texas, and you are fixing a leak, or you're getting under the crawl space, or you're doing, looking at the water heater, then you'd have a 1-minute video showing how you're doing that, showing how your crews are doing that, showing the happy customers, right? And then those can be boosted to people who live in Richardson, Texas. And then the Facebook algorithm, the TikTok algorithm, whatever algorithm will naturally find people who want to see that content.
Yeah.
So, Lewis, you and I know that when you're on social media, the algorithm is very good at finding stuff that you like based on what you've engaged on and who you are, right?
Absolutely.
That's the whole point of how the news feed or whatever you want to call it works. Don't you think it's the same algorithm that works for ads?
When you mentioned to your wife that the toilet's broken, or she mentions to you, like, when are you going to fix that? You're going to start seeing that stuff.
And I was at lunch a couple days ago with a friend of mine who recommended a particular supplement. I'm really big on the supplements. So don't ask me about that. That's a whole.
I actually might.
Yeah.
We might go down a rabbit trail there.
Don't get me started on that one. But a friend was telling me about NAD plus and resveratrol and MNN and other things that basically are for anti-aging and how different supplements work together. And, all the different people that are in that space, right? Talking about what their podcasts have to say. So we had a conversation at lunch. This probably happened to you. And all of a sudden on Facebook, I'm getting all kinds of ads for that stuff. On YouTube, I'm getting, now some of it's remarketing where if you visit that person's website, then it follows you up, right? Okay. Yeah, fine. But they also are looking at your activity on what you're clicking on and whatnot. So the beauty of $1 a day is it relies upon self-targeting. In other words, the targeting isn't something that you have to go into the ads manager and specify, oh, I want to reach 35-year-old women that drive a Volvo and have a poodle with one eye and is blind or whatever. No, the nature of the content itself and whoever engages on that content becomes the targeting signal. So if you're attracting the kind of people that you want with that content, then when you hire a blue crocus to be able to do your SEO, when you hire some young adult to come in and make videos, or maybe it's your son, it's not like it's hard to do. Whatever service provider helps you, is there to help make the phone ring or run ads or whatever, there's the raw ingredients that drive the necessary signal for it to work. So let me give you a specific example. My buddy Greg Beebe and his wife Lou and their younger son, I think they're in their late 50s. They're a concrete coating company in Waukesha, Wisconsin. And they're the least technically whatever sorts of people, like I was showing him how to do stuff with, AI tools, right? And so I said, and they had paid some agencies a lot of money, like $3,000 a month for years for SEO and all this stuff. And it never made the phone ring. Yeah. And you see this all the time. Oh, I was burned by the last 3 agencies. Yeah, I get that. They're all like that pretty much, except for Blue Crocus and people that actually do this thing right. And so he said, Greg or Dennis, I don't know. I don't understand like how this whole thing works. And I said, okay, well, let me just Google you. So I Google Greg Beebe. I Google Excel concrete coatings. I Google like all the stuff that, new concrete floor in Waukesha. I Googled like as a customer, what would I want to search to try to find his business? And all I saw were competitors and ads and pictures of concrete floors. That's what they do. They make shiny concrete floors in different colors and
the epoxy and all that.
Yeah, exactly. Polyaspartic epoxy, all that stuff. And I found some of their stuff, but it was just pictures of the shiny floors. And it was just floor after floor after floor. And there was no story. There was no human involved. There was no before and after. There was nothing talking about what does it cost, or, will it work for me, or what happens when the temperature's cold outside? Because, where you are, Lewis, it can be kind of cold. And even in Wisconsin, it's basically Canada as far as I'm concerned.
It is basically Canada, yeah.
Yeah. And so he said, but I don't understand. I don't have a professional videographer and I'm not really good on camera and my hair and all that. And his wife, Lou, doesn't want to show herself because she's a very private person and this kind of thing. And I said, no. You pretend like you're taking people behind the scenes on today. We're going over to this part of town and we're going to do a new Sky Zone, trampoline park. And we're going to do all their floors here. And they said they wanted orange and blue, which is their colors or something like that. Well, then he's just grabbing little cell phone videos along the way. And then those get posted to Facebook, to Twitter, to their GMB, to YouTube, to all these other channels. And then we run $1 a day against it. In fact, his son, who's going to be taking over the business, is now running $1 a day against those posts. So Dollar a day is a fantastic mechanism to drive more leads and sales for home service businesses, which is, I think, why we're talking about this and who this is for. But it requires that the content that's being boosted actually works. So if he were to boost, Lewis, those pictures of just a concrete floor over here, and here's a concrete floor, and his website was full of just stock art, people that were pushing those things to do the concrete polishing.
Yeah.
How, if you boost that, how is that ever going to possibly make the phone ring in Waukesha, Wisconsin, for people who search for epoxy flooring? No. And it's not even an SEO EEAT, try to show the direct experience authentic, beat the AI. That's not even what it is, even though that is true. I'm talking about it from a paid ads perspective. So when he started posting quick little videos saying, hey guys, today, we're doing this.
And just to clarify, he's not showing his face. He's just taking him behind the scenes, right?
Well, we've tried it both ways.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
But he's telling a story with his cell phone as if he's like bringing someone along for the job, or the people that work on his team. They're saying, imagine they were like FaceTiming with Greg, and he's working on they're saying, hey, Greg, you have all the experience. What would you do? There's cracks in this kind of concrete. What should we do? Can we smooth it out? Can we make it flat? Can we, well, no, I think you should do it like this or like that. Like, imagine they're having that kind of conversation, right?
Yeah.
All we're doing is just recording that. And then when they finish with that customer's floor, they'll say, hey, Sally, could we make a little video talking about this? And maybe could you say a little something, just because, me as a contractor, I get $10 for every video that my boss will pay me $10 for every video that we can make with the customer. And, I got a kid on the way, or I don't know, whatever kind of sympathetic kind of thing you can generate. And now you've collected videos where, say, hey, Sally, what do you think? Oh, you guys are so amazing. You came on time. I really like the way you guys did this. And you did a really good job. And, I heard about you from my neighbor who also needed their garage done, or their, toilet was broken, or like whatever, my roof, whatever it is I had done. Right. Oh, I heard from so-and-so, I read your reviews, and you guys came right away, and you were very professional, and I love working with you guys. And so you don't even ask for a testimonial. You just say, how do you feel about the work? What would you say about the experience? And they naturally will say that at that moment, because when you are done presenting the work, when you show them their new remodeled bathroom, when you show them their new garage door, when you fix that broken poopy toilet, when you've just done the lawn or cut down the tree or whatever the thing is, right? Isn't that the best moment, Lewis?
It's the high. It's the highest moment psychologically for them, for sure.
And we say, today we're here with Jonathan, and we just worked on his roof, and he's here in the suburbs of Dallas, in Rockland, Texas, and here's kind of what we did. And Johnny, what do you think? Well, blah, 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 blah. You guys are great to work with. Awesome. Thank you so much, Johnny. Dude, we love people. And by the way, I go hike in the park right next door to where you are, because I grew up as a kid over there. And like, oh yeah, you did? Yeah. Well, we go to the same church, and like this and that. And like, you know what I mean?
Stories are what matter. That's what people.
Yeah. It's those little details. And it's so if you're a home service business, you might think, and I've seen this with HVAC folks, plumbers, electricians, like all these guys, they start talking technical with other tradespeople, basically.
Yeah.
That freaking homeowner doesn't understand all of that stuff. They might understand what a mini split is and what is a 2-ton versus a 3-ton AC unit or whatever. But most of them, how they make decisions? Just based on, emotionally. Do they see, do they kind of like how you are? Do they, do you, that person that you just did the job for, are they also a conservative Christian? Are they also a mom with 2 kids? Are they also, share certain kinds of values? Or they, they just got a Tesla too, or, like that's literally how people make decisions. It has nothing to do with judging the expertise of your ability to install solar panels or fix the roof or do whatever the thing is. Yeah. So all that is a way to say, you asked the question about dollar a day. If the raw ingredients are there, then you push it for $1 a day in your neighborhood, not the whole world. You're not trying to be TikTok famous. You're not trying to be Mr. Beast. And then the algorithm will naturally start to hunt. I know you talk about hunting instead of waiting for the agency to just like feed you stuff. Then the algorithm on your behalf will start hunting and start finding other customers. And it's not magic. It's just when you just understand that's how Google and Facebook and TikTok and all those, that's how they work. It's free for the consumers. the users of the system, because advertisers like us as agencies or home service businesses or whatever, we are paying to leverage that same infrastructure they built. Like Google Maps is free, right? You use Google Maps all the time.
Yeah.
Is it really free? They're collecting all this information about where you are, like, and they're using it for ads. So if we create content around, like, if you want to rank in Google Maps, and there's tons of people using Google Maps, and along the way they're like, because yesterday I was searching for an espresso martini for a friend of mine, because we were on this trip. Like, where's the best place to get an espresso martini? And none of those guys there had any stories about espresso martinis.
Interesting.
And I was ready, and I had to go into 5 different places and eventually found one. I paid $25 for an espresso martini. Anyone who at any of those bars or restaurants or whatever, if they had a little story about, hey, check out this espresso martini, delicious, right? That probably would have popped up in my search in Google Maps or in TikTok or wherever you're doing the search. In ChatGPT, I was in Rome and I looked for best Italian restaurant, best fettuccine Alfredo, whatever, right? And I found there was one place that had 4,000 5-star reviews. It was in the center of Rome, right next to the Colosseum, right? I went there. It was some of the worst pasta I've ever had. And it was not made by Italian people. And I'm like, dang it. Like Danny Liebrandt and Danny's probably arguably like the best podcaster in local SEO. He's interviewed everybody. I mean, factually, no one's interviewed more people than him. I can't believe how he did it. More than me. And so we're like, dang it, we're local SEO experts, like how to rank in Google Maps. And we got had.
You got duped. You got duped by the system. Yeah.
This place had the most freaking reviews. And we were actually over at one of the other huge, like Rome is filled with these just ridiculous churches. You walk into any random church, Lewis, in Rome, and it'll beat the pants off of any church you've seen in the US. Any random ass church, you walk in there, you look at the ceiling, you look at the sculptures, you look, all that stuff is mosaics. Anyway, don't get me started on that, right? But anyway, I was a mile away, and I did a search for, Italian food inside Google Maps, and it recommended this. Sat down, it was terrible food, and then the couple that sat down next to us, I said, "All right, hey, let me just ask. Sorry to like intrude, but how did you find this restaurant? Like, how did you decide to eat at this place?" And they said, "Well, I looked at the Google reviews and they had freaking like 5,000 reviews and all this kind of stuff." And I said, "Okay, well, I don't want to taint you, but when the food comes, I want you to tell me objectively, like, how was it? Is it good? Is it bad? Like, what do you think?" They tried it and they said, "Oh, this is terrible. This is the worst pasta we've had. This is the worst pizza we've ever had." And they won because these folks, I'm not advocating people do this. I just want to show you what the power of doing this technique is. I'm hopefully like you do good work too. Okay. Not just use marketing, because you can use marketing to overcome being bad at what you do. Yeah. But it was because the servers there were aggressively hounding the customers to leave a review. Have you ever seen that? In other countries, they tend to do that more than the United States for some reason. Right. And so this place amassed more reviews than any other Italian restaurant in Rome. Yet my buddy Silvano, who runs an Italian restaurant called Virginai, some small little place, has the best Italian food in Rome. And I think he's got like 150 reviews. He's really good at what he does. There's no stories, there's no videos, there's no boosting, there's like none of that. Yeah. So imagine if you actually are good at what you do. You're good at what you do. You collect these authentic short little 1-minute video stories. You boost them on Facebook or TikTok, YouTube, whatever. And it's super easy to do because the targeting and all that's built into the thing. There's no need to edit the video. There's no need for anything fancy. Okay. You just boost it. As people start to engage, if those first 3 things are true, Lewis, as people start to engage, the system notices like, oh, well, Dennis clicked on that and then had a good experience, went to the web, because Google can see like if you went to the website and like,
everywhere you go,
went to YouTube and watched the video, Google can see the follow-on activity. And I mean, they may or may not be able to tell whether they actually know whether I went there, because that's why I have Google Maps on my phone. They know that I did the Google search for Silvano's Ristorante Virginai, and it knows that I went there and it was so good. Google knows I went there again the next night for dinner, which I never do when I'm traveling. It has to be like really, really good for me to go again a second time. Right. Yeah. So let me ask you, Lewis, like, what kind of signal do you think we're giving Google or Facebook or whatever when our content actually resonates with the users?
It's massive. It's massive because Google's selfish. Google wants people to keep using their platform.
Yeah.
So if you can provide what they want, they're going to stick around all day.
So when that video is posted on YouTube, as a YouTube short, 60 seconds or less, posted on Facebook, just raw cell phone video, and boosted for $1 a day for 7 days, so $7 in spending, how does that affect SEO?
More traffic to your website, potentially more traffic to your services. If it's a brick and mortar store, more actual people walking into your restaurant, stuff like that.
Yeah. And it's crazy because when you look at home services, like, you want to name one? I can show any of these ones.
Let me
just show you one.
Let's look at a plumbing one. I want to talk about one thing,
Okay.
or clarify one thing with you.
Yeah.
So you mentioned boosting, and that's kind of the worst thing. Agencies are going to roll over in their grave when they hear you say that, because they want you to spend money with them as an ad provider. But before we get to answering that question, do you ever post the media on social media, whether it be YouTube, Facebook, etc., and then wait a second to see how it performs organically, and then take your best performing and boost that?
I do, because I have a big enough audience, and a lot of the home service businesses that we work with are $10 million plus. So they have enough audience that we can do that. But the chicken and egg with 95% plus of home service businesses is it doesn't matter.
Just boost everything.
No one goes to their website. It doesn't even matter. So just go ahead and boost it, because people are like, oh, well, if you post organically and then you boost it right away, then it cannibalizes your organic reach. You're like, yeah, a little bit, but not enough to matter for you.
But there's so little. The numbers are so small. Percentages don't really matter at that point.
I mean, we've done this for Ashley Furniture, who's the largest furniture retailer on the planet with lots of stores. Golden State Warriors, Starbucks. We've done it for California Pizza Kitchen. We've done it for guys who have lots of locations. And yeah, we'll let it organically ride out because we have enough traffic there to then we'll see like which posts are working the best, and then we'll boost those.
And then you're just even more
for the bigger players.
Exactly.
But if you're a podunk plumber somewhere, just boost it right away. Because if you like, oh, I'm going to intend to boost it, you'll forget. You'll never get around to it.
Yeah. Now, why boosting instead of running ads? Especially, I find that interesting that you're doing that for Starbucks.
Not instead. It's both.
Okay.
Because Google and Facebook and all those guys use those signals, right?
Yeah.
And from Facebook ads and Google ads that there's the conversion API. So when you're passing back leads, passing back the status of those leads, which ones became jobs based on your CRM and whatnot, then that's a signal that allows the system to target even better for you. It's the math of statistical significance. It's inarguable. You cannot avoid it. It's not Facebook's trying to get more money out of me. No, it's just a math of like, if they can understand what is a win for you and you tell them that, then they will give you that based on the objective.
They want to keep you spending money with them, essentially.
Yeah. So the boosting is really just mid-funnel engagement. And then that makes your conversion ads work better. Like Facebook lead ads, like native ads, or regular PPC.
Everywhere at that point.
Right, because it acts as sort of retargeting both ways. This is something I've never heard anyone say. When you boost posts, it acts as retargeting on the back end, because when someone sees your regular ad, call me now, I got a broken car, or you got in a car accident, call me, I'm the toughest attorney. Like whatever it is that local service business does, right? Hey, this is Anthony of Anthony's Lawn Care. Are you looking to get ready for the spring, seeding? We'll do your lawn now for 10% off. Whatever the ad is, that's an ad, okay?
Direct response ad, calling someone to take
bottom of funnel, call me now. Okay, get it. But when you run $1 a day, when someone sees that ad and they're looking for a new roof, they have need an emergency plumber to come right now because the water is flowing everywhere, then that triggers the post that you boosted turns into retargeting automatically. And you can see what Facebook has to say about how they did that. It's kind of a sneaky little thing. But it turns into retargeting automatically on those other ads. You don't need to specify retargeting. It's built in. That happened about 5 years ago. It also acts as retargeting in the beginning, which is actually more powerful. You can think of it as an extension of building your reputation and whatnot, so that when people start to see your stuff and then they have the broken toilet and then they need the, whatever the thing is, like the HVAC, that's really hot, and then we need to fix the air conditioner because it broke. Okay, well, if we get some of those touches in that particular neighborhood, because you're not trying to win worldwide, right? Just in your city, then when that conversion call to action, whatever you want to call it, that ad shows, people sort of remember who that is, and then Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and whatnot, they also recognize who engaged. So if someone engaged, even though they're not ready to hire that contractor now, that's sort of a signal that they remember, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the way to think. So it's retargeting before the need, and it's retargeting after the need.
Amazing. PJ's on the show here. This is good stuff. PJ actually has built his entire junk removal business on social media marketing, giveaways, all that sort of stuff out in California.
Should we look at PJ's business?
On Facebook? PJ, you're in the hot seat.
Let's take a look.
It's
PJ Hickenbottom. All right, let's do it.
I believe it's Sonora.
Well, here's the thing. So I'm going to show you my favorite way to look at things.
There we go.
Okay. So who is PJ Hickenbottom? And I'm just using ChatGPT. I've got the paid version, but you can use the free one too. Paid ones. Search PJ Hickenbottom. Hopefully his knowledge panel. Are you in Vegas? PJ Hickenbottom.
He's in Sonora County, California.
Sonora. Okay, Sonora. All right. 702 junk removal. That's an ad. Sonora junk removal. Facebook, Instagram. Is this you too? Maybe. All right. There's a mix of things because it knows that I'm in Nevada today. So those ads are showing there. But here's what's neat. Is he a client of yours?
No, he's not. Just someone that I thought was doing really cool stuff.
Okay.
He was on the podcast. He was the first episode of this,
awesome.
Podcast.
So this thing here, even though it has no engagement, it's actually driving SEO, right? Even though there's no links in here, because social media are all no follow links, of course, right? Yeah. It's still driving the SEO, and it's the number one thing that shows up for his name. So if I look at this one, this is probably his page. Let's see. Is this him? Is this you, PJ?
No, I don't think that's him. He might have commented on it.
Okay. Well, let's just do this. So PJ
So I believe he is much more active on his Sonora junk removal page and interacts a lot as his business page.
Okay.
And that's kind of the name that he's built up in the
all right, probably this one, Sonora junk removal. He's got a group. Thank you, Sonora. Okay, so Sierra Bigfoot Music Festival tagged him. And there's a website as well.
He did a giveaway there with a bunch of local community owners.
Got it.
Community business owners, yeah.
All right, and there's PJ. Now, notice what he's doing is he's telling stories. Yeah. So, I mean, who wants to really talk about junk removal and dumpsters and, is it whatever, I don't know, like 25-foot dumpster, 30-foot dumpster, whatever it is, right? There's stories of him. And so all of us become local celebrities, kind of like PJ, doing stuff in the community. So let's see, is it tied to the website? So then the website, is that PJ?
That's his site, not PJ though. Okay. Unless he's got a completely different facial hair situation that I'm familiar with.
All right. So here's all these things they do junk removal for. All right. And all this, commercial junk. Okay, you got your location service pages. That's PJ, right?
I don't believe there's any pictures of PJ on the site, actually.
No? Okay. Well, I thought I saw something that looked like...
Last time I checked, anyway.
Okay. Well, whatever it is, people would assume that's the guy, right? If you show a picture of a guy, unless it's some stock art. The way to tell is you can just look at any of these and just, right-click the thing and reverse image search it and see where else that is. As you know, Sonora junk removal, that's probably him, right?
I think it's a custom piece with a picture of someone in front, a picture of a phone, and a picture of junk that's put together.
Okay.
Yeah, Pat Bellant's built his site, and I think that's the style that he uses.
Okay. So what does he rank on? Dump run, Twain Hart. Was Twain Hart a city? A lot of Twain Hart does. Angels junk removing junk, California. Okay. Junk removal, Oakdale. That must be, yeah, here it is. Property clean out in Oakdale. So see, so he's telling stories of what he's doing in different cities. I'm hauling junk in this place and hauling junk in that place. Twain Hart. Yeah. Okay. Twain Hart, California. Leaf removal, Twain Hart, California. And there's them actually doing this thing. And this ranks on Twain Hart junk removal. What a surprise. Now, imagine that. Let's just go to Facebook and do a Sonora junk. And Sonora junk removal, that is a super low keyword difficulty. You can absolutely crush it. Okay, there's that podcast with Phil. All right, cool. I'll give it a like.
Yep, so
That's
his
also
business
signal.
is tagged right in the description there.
I see it. Pay for the blue check mark. That's fine. I think you should. I had real blue check marks back in the day when it really counted. Now anyone can just buy a blue check mark.
When you had to apply for it after getting enough street cred on the internet?
No, I never applied for it. I got it.
Oh, nice.
I was one of the few people. People like, oh, Dennis is a celebrity. He has a blue check mark, right? Okay, so he's telling different stories. He has some reviews, which you can think of as like reviews on Google too. And he's doing things that are not necessarily around junk removal. But look, he's thanking Flappy's Pizza. Why? I'm going to guess Phil knows that when you highlight other businesses in your favorite pizza place, the other guy who's an electrician or like other people, that sends a signal to Facebook on who you are, who you're working with. It sends the same signal to Google as well.
Yeah. And I think I might have the actual facts a bit mixed up, but he does like a giveaway every week from a local pizza place.
Yeah. Whenever the gift basket.
Every week
great.
the community votes for a business to get pizza delivered to them. So
Yeah.
it's like a community effort here.
So what I would do is, so as it relates to boosting, any of these could be boostable, but not everything should be boosted. So when there's a particularly good story, let's just pretend that this is a story of a dog that was abandoned. They found it, in the shelter, whatever it is, and then it got adopted. And there's a great story around it. Let's just pretend that this is what that said here, right? And maybe this happened, however, a week ago. This could be evergreen because we could say, hey, and you got to give the dog a name. So that's where people can really like emotionally attach themselves. So this is, Fluffy. So Fluffy's this dog, and that you tell the story of Fluffy. Then you can boost that post with the blue button. And now that post can live forever at $1 a day and continue to attract people in Sonora, even though it has nothing to do with junk removal. All it does is it builds signals so that Sonora junk removal, or, Phil, can become kind of the mayor of that town, if you know what I mean.
Big deal. Yeah. So Pat, the guy who designed PJ's site, actually jumped in. So the picture there is that the person can text an image over to the junk removal company. That's the image that we were looking at there.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. All right. Are you there in this StreamYard?
No, I just said hey because I
you're just saying hey. Okay, yeah. So let me just show you from mine, because I live and breathe this, right?
You do. Actually,
this is not just like, oh well, Dennis got lucky 20 years ago and he's living. No, I do it every day. I live and breathe this. This only works because Dennis is famous and like he's worked with huge companies, so it won't work for me because I'm just a tiny little lawn care company. No, this works for everybody. Okay. It's funny, even though I have examples which are sort of like boastful, right? Like being on CNN, arguing with Zuckerberg, like, okay, fine. But I boosted that because I'm teaching $1 a day, right? Because I talked about $1 a day on TV, and then I boosted so that more people know that, as you said, it was like, I'm the $1 a day guy, right?
Yeah.
But I could take the most random things like this. Like here, I'm just teaching something, right? And it's my buddy Danny, and he runs pest control SEO. Well, what a surprise. He does SEO for pest control companies, right? And I left him a review, and I explained why reviews are so important. I can boost this post to, in fact, I don't need to boost it to anybody. This could be to other digital marketers. This could be to other pest control companies. This could be to whatever it is based on who engages. Okay. So when you see who engages, Brian Eisenberg, wow. Taylor Moore, look at these people here. These are, some of these are VAs. Some of these are semi-well-known people. But here, let me show you, Lewis. So if we take like this one, yesterday, an amazing buffet. Ever been to the Caesars Bacchanal buffet? Best buffet in the world.
No.
Right. But here, we had this crazy buffet, and there's Marco Cipolla. So he runs an agency serving the concrete flooring company. There's his girlfriend, Jerusalem. There's me. There's Rehan Alawala, probably the second most famous person in Pakistan. He's staying with me today. There's Dan Yulin, elite student coach, does coaching for $1 million parents, charges $100,000 to coach. And there's Seth Jordan. And when you look at who's engaging, look, there's Jeff McCallum, Austin Armstrong, Sam DeMayo's here. Look at these. These are some people who are very well known in the world of local and entrepreneurship and this kind of thing. So this sends a signal when these people engage. This sends a signal to the algorithm to find other people that are just like that, right?
To show that same content too.
Yeah, that's how the algorithm works, literally.
Yeah.
So if I'm whatever kind of company in whatever city, and I create content that's good enough that other people want to engage with it, that sends a signal to allow my dollar a day boost to become more powerful. You see what I'm saying?
It's massive. Yeah.
So here's the different angle. This is 2 days ago. Rihan Alawala, right? Who's down here below in our podcast studio, probably trying not to cough because he doesn't want to make noise on the podcast. And we're here in the studio, and we did a webinar, live stream training, whatever you can see 2 days ago, right? And he took a picture as we were doing this thing. And then because he's super well known in Pakistan with all the government leaders and the conferences and the entrepreneurs, because he's trying to create jobs for VAs in Pakistan using our training and whatnot, teaching them, hey, if you learn how to use Dennis's system, Content Factory $1 a day, we'll pay you $500 a month, which is better than the $100 per month average they make, right?
Yeah.
Join the group, right? So because Rihan has an audience in Pakistan of millions of VAs, he's got millions of followers. When he posts content, when you look at the people that engage, it's going to be more of those people, which then sends a signal to show it to more people in Pakistan that want to make $500 a month learning what you and I do, Lewis, right?
Yeah.
It's
so here's a cool moment that speaks to the algorithm. So I shared this. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn right now. I shared it to a couple of groups. I don't know if Travis is in those groups, but the fact that I mentioned Dennis Yu in my post very likely told the algorithm that there was some connection there. I'd actually be really curious how Travis found it, but he does have a good question.
Yeah.
I met Dennis in 2020. Do you boost a post until you add another post several days later of next completed project or whatever, or are you boosting multiple posts simultaneously?
Oh, here it is, Travis Frost. Oh, Oklahoma Christian University. I remember that. Yeah. Here it is on the screen. Do you post? Okay. All right. So this is where you can boost multiple posts at the same time. You do not have to wait. A lot of people think of this as like, they mistakenly will go to LinkedIn and say, okay, well, LinkedIn says you can only post once per day because when you do another post, it takes away from the previous post. Yes, organically. But on Facebook, why wouldn't you boost multiple at the same time? Because you actually like that. It's actually better because now, Travis, these posts are kind of competing against each other. I love these whole like winners stay on. You know, what is the in March Madness, they have the basketball tournament, like 64 teams, and eventually they go, you know, like one team wins through all the bracket, finding these winners.
And then what you can do is take the winners and start making more like that, which is often stories, which is often what would you say?
Yeah, or just let them continue to run, which is what we call greatest hits. So here I can go to my Twitter. I was spending all this time on Facebook, so I don't want people to think Facebook is the only place for dollar. It works on every single channel. Okay. So let's go to Twitter, for example. And I've got all kinds of ads that have been running. If this will load. And we'll just look at, I've got a lot of accounts here, okay? And some of them here, let's just look at some of these, okay? So each of these is talking about a specific thing. Like we made an SEO thing for Wix. Wix built websites, right? Or for my buddy Alex Mellon, who got the very first electric Mercedes SUV, or whatever. Or a friend of mine who his grandma is in Bourbonnais, a tiny little town just outside of Chicago, and they were doing something in that town. So we made a video about what was going on in that town, targeting that town, 16% engagement rate, right? Alex Berman, who's the cold email king, $1 a day. So we talked about $1 a day, 2% engagement, 6% engagement. Anthony Hilb. Anthony Hilb is in.
What's a good number on Twitter, by the way, for
percent? You want to see? It's nothing to do with Twitter or Facebook or whatever. What we're looking for $1 a day overall is 10%. Okay. I need 10% of the people to like, share, comment, do something. Okay. Here, 11%. This is where we were doing something on behalf of Allegiant Airlines. We were like fighting the union. Okay. And we were talking about how they need to fix something. They need to pay their pilots more. So 11%, 13%, 2%, 4%. It's like, I thought this would be pretty good. This guy's a real estate agent in Dallas, but, you know, targeting Dallas, but signal wasn't strong enough in the post for it to work. And some of
Interesting.
you can see like most of these don't work. Sometimes you're 10%, 12%, 14%, right? Look, so Tom Breeze is the world's best in YouTube ads. I flew out to London to do stuff with him because he's so amazing. And so I said, here's what Tom Breeze had to say, or there's a little snippet between me and Tom Breeze talking about YouTube ads, right? And I boosted it out there. And in this case, I targeted Tom Breeze. And you never see anyone in a webinar actually show this kind of stuff. But targeting Tom Breeze, look, this is literally taking this thing here, and I targeted, Tom Breeze, right? Well, if it's content with Tom Breeze and I'm targeting Tom Breeze, what do you think that speaks to in terms of relevancy? Off the chart, right? Yeah. So how am I 15%? How am I able to do that? Or if I do 13% or 4%, let's just go. Let's just look at some of the ones that have got a little bit more traffic, right?
Well, that's awesome, Travis. Travis says, Lewis, I follow your business page, so we've been getting announcements about the podcast. Amazing. Appreciate you tuning in.
Yeah.
Jake Holloway says, love the content, Lewis. Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys. Or we've done webinars together with Fiverr. Fiverr is where you go hire the freelancers and whatnot, right? And then we targeted that to Fiverr because what we're trying to do $1 a day is help the algorithm understand who we're trying to hit and have super high relevancy, because that super high relevancy carries into a lower click-through rate, lower cost per lead, but also helps SEO because Google can see that a higher proportion of people are watching the video or coming to the website or clicking on our maps or looking at our reviews, like all that. This $1 a day thing is kind of a secret SEO strategy. It's
signals, and Google pays attention to signals. Posting on Facebook, engagement on Facebook, social media, etc. It's a big deal.
Yeah. And people want to argue with me. Oh, Dennis doesn't know. He just wants to boost posts on Facebook. I was a search engine engineer. I built the analytics at Yahoo 25 years ago. I started as a search engine engineer, so it's like Dennis doesn't know anything about SEO. Really? Well, look at this, 12%. These are all so very specific, right? 12%. 59%.
So can we reel this back in this is awesome. And I love the behind the scenes. So if we're to reel this back in and kind of give people the essence of everything we talked about today, how would we distill that for someone who's in home service? They need to make videos. They need to then boost those videos. Take it away for us, just to wrap it up, Dennis.
You're in home services. People don't know who you are. If you have a series of 1-minute videos showing your day-to-day with the technicians, with your customers, how you got started, what you believe in, the other people in your community, and you're highlighting them, and they're all being collected on cell phone video. You, maybe your son or daughter, because you believe you don't do technology very well or whatever. If you have all that raw video, you can repurpose it using AI tools or just posting it raw to all the different social media channels, including your website, including Google Business Profile, to then boost it for $1 a day. You might take 30 or 40 of these items and boost for $1 a day for a week, which is $7. So 30 items times $7, you spent $210 to test. When you find winners from that, they get more than a 10% engagement rate. You allow it to run for 14 days, for 30 days. We've had posts that have been running for 10 years, right? Wow. And that builds your reputation in that city. And as it builds more engagement and builds more customers, it's like having a Google Business Profile with more reviews. As you start to collect more reviews, it starts to just help you more and more. So when you boost a post, the power is not in that initial boost. It's the accumulation of finding the best items. So then you make another batch of 5 or 6 and boost them, a week or two later. Then next you got busy and you forgot to do anything. So 3 months later, you came back, made another batch of like 7 or 8 of them to then continue to find more of these greatest hits. When you have these greatest hits and you start to, like winners stay on, then that is the key to your social media. And then whatever agency you're working with, that helps them too. Yeah. Because when they run ads, regular conversion ads, those do better because Google and Facebook and whatever have a stronger signal. That's what we're trying to do, is feed them the signal. Who do we want, right?
Yeah, big deal. PJ actually just started a new location. So looks like he's going to test out some of the stuff we went through, which is awesome.
Cool.
Very cool. Dennis, thank you for coming on today. Final question here. We could go another hour for this, but if you were to give people a couple tips about taking video, we went through some behind the scenes, etc. Talk about horizontal, vertical. Why each of them?
Under a minute or if it's a call to action like buy now or call us, whatever, vertical, because that's what social media is. If it's longer than a minute, horizontal.
That was very concise. I love it. Dennis, what's something you're most excited about people checking out what you're doing?
I want people to understand that everything is measurable and Googleable. So if you do a search for, here, I'll just show you this one thing, one last thing.
Represent it one more time.
Yeah, free little gift for everybody. Do this. This is a really fun thing. People have so here's our Knowledge Graph Explorer. This pulls from Google's Knowledge Graph, which you have to know how to use an API to do.
So for those listening after or on social, go to Blitzmetrics Knowledge Graph Explorer and then type something in.
And then put your name in, right? And we want to see, are you here or not? Oh, did I not type it in the right way?
I think you did. I had a knowledge graph, I think in December. I tried to claim it and then it kind of disappeared. So I don't know if it became less Googleable or not.
Well, anyway, the point is that everything in Google is.
Can you do yours just to show one that obviously is going to work?
Yeah, I'll just show you the real result. Yeah. So if you Google me, do it, right? Or ask ChatGPT. This is what's called a knowledge panel, right? Yeah. And people say, oh, this guy's a celebrity. Like I'll show it without the SEO tools. Okay. So you can see what it looks like. Okay, you see this? So this whole thing that shows up, when you own the search results for your name, and Google is trying to understand, what is it when someone does that search? So I own everything here. They ask about my net worth or the Content Factory, $1 a day or whatever it is, right? I own all these results. And these are the other people that I'm like, and it's tied my social profiles together. When you do the stuff that Lewis and I were talking about, and then you tie all these items together, then this is what shows up for you, for your company, for whatever it is. This is how you win in the world of Google. The way you win in Google, at least the way we teach it, is you win in social first, because that's real relationships, doing great work, and you tie it all together, boost it, shows a signal, right? Google is trying to connect all these objects together. So this is an object. This ID is an object, right? This is the ID number of that object, right? That's all Google is a database of objects that are connected together. So when you connect with other people in your community in the ways we just spent an hour talking about, this is what you will get. That's what I want you guys to know. And we built a tool. You type in your name, and it'll show you what Google has. It's not what I have to say. Don't get mad at me. This is what Google has to say about who you are and your confidence score, which is kind of a measure of your citations and how many things it knows about you and related objects. And if you don't rank number one in your name, you can tell why that is and tie it to your business too.
It's a big deal. I lied. Not the last question. One last question. What are you going to do with this podcast? So obviously you're going to do exactly what you're preaching here. You're going to cut it up into a bunch of content. You're going to walk us through everywhere that this will land.
Okay. So here's the 4-stage content factory. We just did stage 1, which is we produced some content together, right? So now I'm associating myself with Louis van der Valk and Blue Crocus and the podcast and other people that are in our neighborhood. And so when we process it, we use Descript, ChatGPT, other sorts of tools, your favorite AI tool, whatever, Opus Clip, whatever you like, right? So it can live in multiple places like we talked about, so we can then boost it. So I happen to have lots and lots of content, okay? So don't think like you have to have a ton of content with a lot of people. I do, right? But then this fits into the structure of what we call the topic wheel. So if I'm a home service, but I'm a plumber in San Diego, California, okay, plumbing, San Diego, the beach, whatever, what are those topics, right? I've got content. You and I have content co-created around SEO, local home service businesses, right? $1 a day, what we talked about, right? Well, when we have that content that's co-created around particular topics that gets repurposed to these outer angles, notice I'm going through this content factory process with you, sort of like as the wheel expands, right?
Yeah.
Then I take the ones that did the best out here that are greatest hits, and I'll put $2 a day forever or whatever it is. And those continue to drive leads and whatnot and show that I'm authoritative when it comes to, running ads on Facebook for home service businesses. Why? Tommy Mello's a client, so-and-so's a client. We work with, I've been on so-and-so's podcast. And so the content you and I made together here, even though it was live in StreamYard and streamed to Facebook and whatnot, that can be repurposed into articles and into snippets. And then there are probably 7 or 8 stories that we told, right? So we have this thing we call the article guidelines. So when you take a video like this, a long form video, a podcast, that can be chopped into lots of pieces, right? And so we have a lot of people from Pakistan and the Philippines and whatever that go through this thing. We publish exactly how we do everything. And that gets turned into lots of other kinds of content. And this helps us rank, because from those articles, we will then link to Blue Crocus. We will then link to lewisvandervalk.com, right? And we will boost those assets for $1 a day. So now we will rank on your name. And it won't be that hard, because when we look at Lewis Vandervalk with the DR9 and 4 keywords, I will rank on your name.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I see Blue Crocus has got a ton of power. Look at this, 67. You rank on these other keywords because of these links and all that. And we will help all of the people that we are associating with. So your junk removal guy, great. Think about all the stuff you've done to PJ or whatnot on junk removal. If those videos were repurposed, all that social media stuff, if that was repurposed into blog posts, and then we can $1 a day the blog post, $1 a day all the derivative content. Now we can rank more on junk removal SEO, and that drives more clients to Blue Crocus.
Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome. It's very exciting.
Yeah. Easy,
very
right?
exciting. Well, guys, I'd love to chat with Dennis for another hour. We're just a smidgen over time. So Dennis, appreciate your time here. And guys, go back through this, go through his blog posting guidelines. That will be in the link, a link in the description when we post this. You'll be able to go find that and do it. But just go and start creating content and just consistently try boosting a post a week. Pick something and do it consistently. And then, in a year, you're going to have some cool results that you can multiply on. So Dennis, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone that engaged in this, thank you. And anyone who's listening, go out and take action. Be a hunter. Don't wait for the leads to come to you. Talk soon.